I have spent more than 100 hours running my restaurant in Chef RPG. I've gone through all the seasons, done all the quests, made an enormous amount of profit, and recently finished 100% completion of the whole game. So today, I wanted to share with you literally everything I learned so you can have the smoothest early game experience, the fastest mid-game progression, all while making the most profits right at the end game. I've categorized all of the tips, so if there's anything in particular that you're looking for, all the timestamps are there for you down in the description. So without further ado, let's get started with tip number 1. Starting off right at the very beginning, choose your starting season wisely. Now, obviously, you can choose whichever one you find most appealing, but if you're new to the game and want to make sure you have a great start, stay as far away from winter as possible. You can start in winter if you really want to, but know that you won't have a lot of ingredients to forage in order to jumpstart your restaurant. Number 2, pick the right specialty. Basically, when choosing a specialty, I would avoid the ones requiring appliances that you won't be able to utilize in the early game. The best choices, in my opinion, are the meat, vegetables, and seafood specialty, as they mostly use common ingredients and basic appliances to cook. Number 3, human versus android. Which is better? Androids have lower stamina depletion and can use powerful late game augments in exchange for slower relationship growth. Humans get tired easier but can build relationships with NPCs faster, giving you access to higher quality items and ingredients a lot sooner. And they can also consume vending machine consumables, which cancels out their stamina debuff, so for this, I would choose human. Number 4, which skills should you focus on? Social should be top priority, as they can be the longest to level up while giving insane benefits both in items gained, perks unlocked, and restaurant profits. As for your other options, endurance is great for the early game as more stamina allows you to do more things, but the cooking skill tree offers a lot more benefits when thinking about the long-term perks. Now, you should have a pretty good character to start the game with. Before we talk about how to maximize your restaurant, let's talk about gathering ingredients first to make sure you don't run out of food in the middle of service. Number 5, remember the early foraging spots. Foraging ingredients basically give you free money in the early game once you use them for cooking, so make sure to remember the locations of these common ingredients. Watercress can be found in abundance in the Ashy Swamp right behind your restaurant. This area as a whole is foraging heaven, as commonly used early ingredients like cranberries, chilies, asparagus, mushrooms, and wild rice can all be found alongside some meat from animals. To the west of the swamp is the Lonely Cliffs, which also has cranberries, mushrooms, and spinach. And then just down a bit towards the road back to the restaurant, there's a bunch of wild carrots free for the taking. In the same place, head south up until Pomeran's house and you can get some free strawberries. Another great foraging spot is north of the town center in the area where the old bathhouse is located. There's a bunch of stuff here, but what you're really looking for are tea leaves, which are just hanging off of the cliffs. And then if you go up the stairs to the bathhouse, you'll also find sorghum, which can be turned into flour later on in the game. Number 6, get the Forest Citizen perk. This perk is massively helpful if you're new to the game. Basically, what it does is that it allows you to see which ingredients are forageable, so you can avoid what I did, which was not harvesting a bunch of ingredients because I thought they were regular plants. Number 7, stock up on ingredients before the winter season. Going back to what I said earlier in tip number 1, make sure you stock up on ingredients throughout all of the seasons before winter. I made the mistake of not doing this during my first year and ended up only opening for a limited amount of time due to a lack of ingredients. Some items to pay extra attention to, in my opinion, are wild rice and tea leaves, because not only are they commonly used, but they're also not typically sold at shops. Tea leaves can sometimes pop up, but they're very rare. As for wild rice, I've never seen them being sold by any vendor. Now let's talk about some meat ingredients. Number 8, how to properly kite in combat. To ensure you never get hit, just unequip your weapon whenever the enemy gets too close and you'll get a small boost to your movement speed. Number 9, enemies respawn when you leave areas, which is great for stocking up on ingredients. Now that you've got a bunch of ingredients stocked up, let's talk about some restaurant management tips. Number 10, unlock auto cook early. Once you've succeeded on a minigame once, any dish with the same rarity can be cooked automatically on that specific appliance if you turn on auto cook. Now, you might be wondering, is it worth it? Because the quality of the dish does get randomized when you utilize this feature. A simple answer to that is yes, it's worth it. Your cooking skill will level up eventually, which increases dish quality, and right now, the priority is to be able to serve as many people as possible so you can make some money and make good progress. We'll talk about improving dish quality later on, but for now, number 11, hire staff to help you out during service. The game will teach you how to do this, which is through the computer, but what is the optimal chef to waiter ratio? To start with, I feel like a 2 chefs to 1 waiter ratio is good with a minimum of 2 waiters. This ensures that the food gets cooked fast, which is the typical bottleneck in terms of serving speed in this game, and having 2 waiters avoids the issue of when a waiter falls asleep, there's nobody serving food to the customers unless you yourself does it, which takes you away from the kitchen. Number 12. Don't hire too many staff too fast. They are the #1 enemy in terms of making great profit in this game. Scale up slowly and make sure you keep an eye on how much money you're making and how much of that money goes to wages. This stat can be seen every time you finish a service. A great way to keep a small number of staff while maintaining satisfactory ratings is number 13. Hire only high-quality staff. They do cost a bit more to sign and have higher hourly rates, but ultimately, they're pretty worth it in making sure you're delivering faster and higher quality service, resulting in more money generated. Just keep pressing the refresh tab till you find a staff with a rarity and skill you like, and make sure you activate the perk Recruiter so epic level chefs and waiters have a chance of appearing on the recruitment list. Now, once you have some decent staff to start with, I would also activate the staff training perk. What this basically does is that it allows the staff you hire to level up the longer they work at your restaurant. You can get to a point where your low-level rarity staff will perform at the same level as the more expensive ones, and I wish I had activated this a lot sooner. Number 15. Don't add too many tables too early. This is a mistake a lot of beginners make. If you add too many tables too quickly, either the amount of staff you have or your ingredients will not be able to keep up with the rush of customers, leaving you 10 to 20 orders deep, resulting in massive reputation loss. Again, take it slow. Number 16. Don't open your restaurant too long. I've always found a good balance to be around 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Any longer and you risk yourself passing out right at the end of your service, either because some of the customers stayed too long or you ran out of stamina. If things get really dicey, there's a last call button which stops new orders from coming in, and thankfully there's no penalties to using this feature as of yet. And since I mentioned it anyway, number 17, avoid staying out past 2 a.m. You will pass out and pay a percentage of your total credits, and unlike in Stardew Valley, you need to be in bed, not just inside your home, to avoid being sent to the clinic. Number 18. Make sure your fridge is well stocked before opening. I can't remember how many times I've opened my restaurant and immediately one of my best menu items gets taken off the menu because I was low on certain ingredients. An easy way to check if you have enough is whenever you're customizing your menu, just hover over a food item and you'll see which ingredients they need and how many of those you currently have. Number 19. Upgrade your fridge ASAP. In my opinion, this should be your top priority until you can fit everything you need in it. It's incredibly convenient to be able to just drop everything inside the fridge and see what menu items become available. Number 20. Don't neglect daily groceries. I know in the earlier tips we talked about foraging a lot, but once you make a little bit of money, you should immediately include grocery shopping in your daily routine. Not only can you get a large volume of ingredients for cheap, but some ingredients such as squash or pumpkin can only be acquired through vendors. Lastly, for beginner restaurant management tips, number 21. You can save and reload furniture layouts through this button whenever you're decorating your restaurant. Let's move on to social tips. Number 22. Level up your friendships early. The way you do this is by giving the correct gifts to each of the major NPCs in the game. When you reach certain relationship milestones for certain NPCs, you actually start to unlock their character story quests, which are not only fun, but also give really good rewards and access to hidden features, which I'll discuss in detail later in the video. Number 23. Talk to the shopkeepers daily. The shopkeepers are pretty much the most important NPCs in the game. Increasing your relationship level with them by talking and gifting will give you access to new stocks and higher quality ingredients. Number 24. Unlock food delivery. If you successfully become friends with the shopkeepers in the previous tip, activate the supply chain perk and you will get access to one of the most convenient features in Chef RPG, the delivery feature. This can be found in your computer at the restaurant. Just make sure to remember that you need to be at least friends with the shopkeeper for them to pop up in this window. Number 25. Here are the locations for the most common shopkeeper gifts you'd need to unlock delivery. For Uriel the Butcher, he likes healthy beverages, so give him some fruit tea from the nearby vending machine. Mei Lu has a caffeine addiction and coffee can be bought at the convenience store. Thelio likes milk, which you can get at a specific vending machine at the train station, and Bowie likes any kind of tea, so pick up some of those from any vending machine as well. Nabiha likes flowers, and this one took me a while to find, but to the left of your restaurant is the greenhouse, and next to that is April's house where you can buy those flowers and even some gemstones. And then lastly, for Bea, who only opens up her bar in the evenings, she likes everything alcohol related. Being friends with each of these NPCs will allow you to order delivery from them right from your restaurant. So the earlier you build your relationship with them, the easier you'll be able to have an unlimited stock of food in your fridge. Number 26. Unlock epic consumables. Befriending Valentina from the clinic can give you some really nice benefits in the early game while you don't have a lot of stamina. For example, having access to the adrenaline shot this early basically means that aside from time, there's no limit to how much you can do in a day because of the amount of stamina it gives. Lastly, for the beginner social section, tip number 27. Increasing your relationship with NPCs allows you to see them on the map. Number 28. Unlock the secret admirer perk. Now that you have a bunch of friends, it's probably a good idea to finally activate this perk so you can receive some gifts. And the great thing about this is that while they mostly send you some pretty basic stuff, there's a tiny chance that you'll receive something truly legendary. Number 29. Unlock the fast travel home perk. It's called Explorer, and it literally just teleports you home while passing time based on distance. Number 30. You can unlock new recipes by reading at the library as long as you have the bookworm perk activated. At first, I didn't really care about getting a lot of recipes, but one thing that I learned through my long hours in the game is that you really should collect these recipes as early as you can, because if you unlock the right recipe, your restaurant profits will literally go to the moon, and the more of these higher quality recipes you unlock, the more money you'll make. Number 31. For consistent recipe farming, keep an eye out for them during your regular grocery runs as they can be sold by shopkeepers. And if you also unlock the Eagle-Eyed Shopper perk, the recipes will also have a chance of appearing in vending machines. However, the best recipe farming method in my opinion is tip number 32. You can learn recipes while cooking if you unlock the hands-on approach perk. One of the most crucial perks during my 100% completion run, as it allowed me to finally reach 200 recipes for my final achievement. The earlier you get this perk, the more recipes you'll unlock and the more money-making opportunities you'll get. It's incredibly worth it. Now, as you continue to progress the story, at some point you'll unlock the beach caves area where you can mine. So for tip number 33, include mining in your daily routine. At least until you have a good amount of copper, iron, silicon, and quartz, which are commonly used for upgrading. Number 34, refine one ore at a time. Once the game teaches you how to use the furnace, make sure you don't do what I did, which is to throw about 25 raw iron down the drain because I thought the furnace would refine them in bulk. It didn't. I don't know if it's a bug or something, but basically the furnace ate everything and spat out just one. So just be patient with it and do it one at a time. Next up is farming. Like mining, you unlock farming by progressing through the story quest. It's pretty bare bones and kinda tedious, so for tip number 35, rush sprinklers. If you've already got a decent amount of space in your fridge, I would throw all my power cells into a bunch of small sprinklers so I can automate my farming. Basically, not only does manually watering these take a long time, but they also cost stamina that could be better spent elsewhere. Having sprinklers basically means that all you have to do is plant and harvest, and you get a large amount of ingredients while barely doing any work or while making money through the restaurant. Now, if you don't have power cells yet, don't worry, we'll discuss that in a bit. But just to finish up on farming, number 36, use waste material for compost. Once you've unlocked processing machines like boiling vats and fermentation tanks, you'll notice that whenever you fail an experiment, you'll end up with waste materials. You might throw these away because they're literally garbage, but a great use for them is actually compost for your farm. Just throw them in this compost bin instead of usable ingredients, and you'll still get fertilizers for your seeds. Now, if you're wondering, how the heck do I get power cells? Then this one's for you. We're gonna talk about board quest. Number 37. Check these bulletin boards in the town center daily as it's your most consistent source of power cells. A lot of these quests are really easy to do and most of them are pretty lenient with the time limit, so there's really no reason for you to miss out on the rewards. Other things you should try to get from these board quests are seeds if you don't have a lot of them yet, and of course, recipes so you can expand your menu items. Number 38. Look out for event hosting board quests. Once you unlock the party planner perk, you'll be able to host events at your restaurant in exchange for some pretty insane rewards. Now, sometimes they're a bit hit or miss, but for example, if you hit the jackpot and you see power cells as the reward for the event, then that event has a chance to take you to your next upgrade as long as you provide good service. The requirements will be listed in the post itself, but even if you don't hit everything, it's still worth doing as you're still going to receive more rewards than the usual board quests. We're almost done with the early game section, so I'm just gonna do a rapid fire of some general tips that helped me a lot in my own playthrough, and then we'll move on to the mid-game for the intermediate tips. Number 39, sell stuff. A lot of people miss this, but if you click this button, you can actually sell to the shopkeepers, which is great if you need just that little bit of extra money. If you're at the super early game, you can also pick up shells at the beach and sell them for a decent price to give you a leg up. Number 40, use the map legends. If you click on these buttons at the top left of the map, you can filter it to only show you information that you need. Great for finding NPCs or quest markers. Number 41, you can hover on the map to see details. For example, if you're looking for a specific store or house, as long as you've been there before, the map is going to show you the name of whatever building you're hovering over. Number 42, get your glow bracelet from Bianca. One of my biggest annoyances when I first started was not being able to see things, especially since Stardew Valley had a light feature. Apparently, this game had that as well, and it can be purchased for cheap at Bianca's Bits and Pieces. Number 43, since we're already here, might as well grab yourself a bionic arm too. Gives you a bonus on gathering and a decrease to energy depletion. Number 44, one more piece of equipment that I got pretty early on is the leather bracer, which can be acquired pretty easily by doing Pomarine's character quest. This also puts you on the path to getting a legendary because maxing out her friendship and completing all of her content will give you a guaranteed legendary blueprint. You can level up friendship with her by buying sunscreen from the convenience store and talking to her every day. Lastly, number 45. You don't need to bring materials with you when you're crafting with the NPCs. As long as they're in your storage at home, they will automatically be used whether you craft equipment or machines at Bianca's, Pomarine's, or Milo's places. So those are the early game / beginner tips that I can think of. Now let's move forward to something a little more advanced. Let's talk about the intermediate tips for the mid-game. Mid-game for me would be around Act 2 and beyond, so at this point, we're done with a lot of the preparation and we're gonna shift our focus towards scaling the restaurant and on the various progression systems in the game. Now, a lot of those progression systems can be found in the Town Hall, so for tip number 46, if you haven't yet, it's time to upgrade your restaurant. The difference between a level 1 and level 2 restaurant in terms of space is pretty massive. This will allow you to not just place more stuff, but also so you can have enough space for all of the machines you need to make progress in various aspects of the game. For example, alcohol brewing alone needs multiple large machines in order to be productive. Number 47, don't forget to contribute to the community projects. If you haven't started these yet, mid-game would be a great time to start contributing to the donation box at the town hall so you can start repairing various parts of the town. I always like to start with unlocking the deeper parts of the mines in case, for example, you find yourself in need of a large amount of certain ores, but you can tackle this in whatever order you want. Number 48, max out your weekly contributions. Around this time in the game, if you follow the tips in the beginner section, 5k a week shouldn't be too much money to put into donations. So if you can, max it out so you can get the benefits of a fully repaired town as early as possible. You can also contribute certain materials, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're sure that you're not going to use those materials anytime soon. Number 49, pay attention to prestige levels. You might have leveled up your prestige a little bit at this point, but during my playthrough, I literally forgot this feature existed, and so I wasn't able to do some pretty easy tasks that would have not only given me epic recipes, but a lot of power cells early on in the game. Just be aware of what the tasks are for you to move on to the next prestige, and run your restaurant in a way where you would naturally be able to check these off of your list. Alright, now that we've got those progression systems out of the way, let's talk about one of my favorite parts of the game: how to make an insane amount of money and scale your restaurant properly. Before we move forward, I'd like to first thank the sponsor of this video, RPGme.ai. Have you ever wanted to make a personalized RPG adventure, but immediately realized how difficult of an endeavor that would be? Well, 15-year-old me certainly did, but with RPGme.ai, you can now have a custom, fully personalized RPG adventure just by uploading a photo, answering a few questions, and voila! You've now got a unique pixel art RPG video game ready to either be played for fun or gifted to a loved one, whether that's your girlfriend, boyfriend, family, or friends. Put them in the game, add in your inside jokes, maybe have a walk through memory lane. It's the perfect custom gift for an unforgettable occasion. Oh, and what's that? Instead of a regular link, you can even opt in for a physical cartridge with a QR code that'll allow them to play the game on both mobile and browsers. Well, what are you waiting for? Go to the link below and hit the notify me on launch button so you'll be the first to hear about it once the Kickstarter project launches on May 6th. Thank you once again to rpgme.ai, and let's get back to the video. Number 50. How to scale restaurant profits. The best way to make money in this game is through your restaurant, and the most straightforward way to increase restaurant profits is to get more people in and out at a faster rate. So this means more tables, more seats, and a faster service time. So once you have enough money to buy furniture at the Legendaries, go ham and invest in more seats. Number 51. Only offer high rarity food. Aside from being able to serve more customers, the second best way to increase your profits is to only have expensive items available in your menu. So what that means is that it's unfortunately time to remove your cheap watercress salad and replace it with something like a steak burrito. Replacing all of your cheap menu items will literally be the difference between a 20k profit versus 100k in credits gain. Number 52. Activate the magnet perk. If you followed the earlier tips, which was to invest in your social skills, befriend the townsfolk, and obtain the Eagle-Eye Chopper perk, you should meet the requirements for Magnet. For only 5 skill points, this perk gives you a straight up 30% increase in revenue from all restaurant dishes. Number 53. Increase your restaurant efficiency with more counters and appliances. Sometimes the bottleneck is not in your staff quality or numbers. Sometimes you're using specific appliances a lot more than the others, and you have 3 to 4 chefs waiting, doing nothing because there's not enough places to cook in. Same for the waiters. What can happen is certain waiters will not pick up food items on the counters because they're waiting for a customer to finish eating, which leaves no place for chefs to place down their completed menu item. The solution for this is to have more cooking appliances and counters than you think you need. This way you can ensure that your restaurant is operating at an optimal pace. Number 54. Always have tea or coffee ready before opening your restaurant. Once you unlock the tea dispenser from April, you can use it to brew tea, which can be consumed by your staff mid-service to prevent them from running out of energy and sleeping on the job. The same goes for coffee dispenser, which can be crafted from Bianca, but honestly, tea leaves are just so available that I never even got to trying out the coffee versus tea performance. Number 55. Tea provides energy for you too, not just the staff. If you're playing a human, once you unlock the dispenser, you'll never have to worry about running out of stamina ever again, because just one sip will give you basically half of your stamina bar back. Number 56. Hiring too much high-quality staff will eat up your profits. This is different from hiring too many people, and I'm also speaking about epic or higher rarity staff. These guys have way more expensive hourly wages, so just make sure to keep a good balance. Not to mention that if you took the staff training perk super early, you probably wouldn't need to replace most of your current staff, therefore saving you a little bit more money. Number 57. Take your time and prepare for the Lucius visit. So at the end of the second act, Lucius the food reviewer will come to visit, and this guy is going to judge your restaurant in every single aspect, from the food quality to its efficiency and even the decorations, which we haven't even touched on yet. It's not really stated anywhere, but in Chef RPG, there's absolutely no time limit. So you can have Lucius or even Hazel for the soft and grand opening. You can keep them waiting for as long as you want and only proceed with the storyline when you feel 100% ready. Unless you want to end up getting trash talked in the morning news like I was. Number 1, make sure you only serve high quality and expensive food. Number 2, make sure you have enough staff and enough appliances so the wait time for each order is no longer than 20 to 30 minutes. And then lastly, try to get your decoration score or the decor value as high as you can with the budget that you currently have. If you succeed in impressing Lucius, you will get a massive bump to your reputation score, which is gonna matter later on. Number 58. This is how you inflate the restaurant decor value. Only if you really need to, pick a corner and just fill it with plants and floor tiles, and then put those plants on top of the floor tiles. The game doesn't really look at how aesthetic things are, just how many high decor value furniture you have. And then, a little tip for when you're adding the same furniture multiple times in a row. Number 59, hold shift so you won't have to place each furniture one by one. Lastly, for decor, number 60, unlock the hidden furniture shops. You can actually unlock one of them through the main quest when you meet Anime at Takahashi Farm. And at this farm, from the second act and beyond, you can buy some nice wood furniture that can only be brought here. The second hidden furniture shop will only be unlocked if you fund it through the town hall contributions, and this shop will specifically feature cute themed decorations. Now, since we're in the mid-game, this is the point where you start to have access to higher tier ingredients, so these next few tips will teach you where to get them and which ones are the most important. Number 61, hoard the following ingredients: pumpkin, squash, daikon radish, bell pepper, watermelon, mango, scallops, clams, sea urchins, cheese, and dark chocolate. These are some of my most used ingredients that cannot be delivered, so if you don't pick them up in your morning grocery runs, you're eventually going to run out. Obviously, adjust depending on what your menu looks like. Just make sure to keep an eye out on your supplies since you can't just get these anytime you want. Number 62. You can buy alcohol from the vending machine near Bowie's shop. Once you start unlocking higher rarity recipes, alcohol starts to become a commonly used ingredient, and it's such a hassle to go out of your way in the middle of the day to go to Bea's bar just because you need to stock up on some alcohol, especially if you haven't befriended her for the delivery. Thankfully, this vending machine sells the same stuff and it's available at all times of the day. Now, let's change gears a little bit and let's talk about some social tips that you'll only unlock in the mid-game. Number 63, you can date your favorite NPCs. To check if the NPC you like is dateable, hit the escape button, go on over to the relationship tab, and then hover on the character. If the inside of the parenthesis says single, then all you have to do is give them gifts they like, become close friends, and you'll get the option to ask them out on a date and enter a relationship. Number 64. Complete Nassim's character quest to unlock the maintenance room. For the longest time, I didn't know what this metal entrance in front of the restaurant was for and just chalked it up to a feature that hasn't been added to the game yet. But apparently, if you complete Nassim's character quest, you'll find the key which leads to the maintenance room. The maintenance room is basically an extension of the restaurant, and you can put all of your alcohol brewing stuff, furnaces, and other machines here so it's not taking up space inside. Number 65. Make sure to put the trapdoor somewhere in your restaurant. This will give you direct access from inside your restaurant into the maintenance room without having to go all the way outside. Alright, a little bit of a spoiler alert for features that you will unlock in Act 3, but for number 66, don't forget to unlock the tea house. I know that I mentioned earlier that you can take as long as you want in the game as there's no time limit, but for mid-game specifically, unlocking and running the tea house is a lot cheaper than upgrading your restaurant to level 3. It's also pretty straightforward to do, just follow the main quest about the restoration of the bathhouse. Now, if you decide to run and make money through the tea house, number 67, the easiest way to stock up ingredients for the tea house is to use delivery. Set it up while you're working on designing, and after about a week or two, you should be ready for service. Now that we're talking about Act 3, I think this is also a good time to discuss the volcano section north of the bathhouse and give you some sulfur mining tips. Obviously, the most important one is once you've befriended Valentina, number 68, stock up on ice packs. You'll go through them faster than you realize, and trust me, if you're looking to unlock endgame stuff in the current version of the game, you're going to have to spend a lot of time in the volcano. So stock up on these and mine to your heart's content. If you didn't follow the tip about befriending Valentina though, here's an alternate solution. Number 69, unlock thermal skin for permanent heat resistance. Only reason I prefer the ice pack is because this one cost a total of 5 skill points from unlocking the thick skin perk and then unlocking thermal skin. If you don't care about spending a few skill points though, then this is a good option. Number 70. Visit Hugo every weekend. Entering Act 3, you'll encounter Hugo around the left entrance of the volcano. I kept forgetting he existed, so I'm putting this here almost for myself, but every weekend, he'll sell you stuff from the mines, sometimes giving you a small boost to your sulfur supply or other ores that you'd need for upgrading. So at this point in the game, you should already have decently high levels on almost all of the skills. So I want to share with you some must-have perks that you should activate if you haven't yet. Number 71, unlock Celebrity Chef. This is where having a high reputation starts to really affect your playthrough. By activating this perk, your reputation can now attract celebrity visitors whenever you're open, and depending on how well your service is, they can give you rewards ranging from furnitures, power cells, and even legendary materials. Number 72, here's how to get big fishes. If you enjoy fishing in this game and it's one of your main sources of ingredients, make sure to activate the Oceaneer perk, which will allow you to see these big ripples in the water, indicating that there's a chance to get oversized fishes there, which will not only give you an achievement, but also a bunch of ingredients. Number 73, get the Motivator perk. This one is crucial for me at this point. It basically halves your staff's energy depletion and makes coffee or tea twice as effective. As long as you have even one dispenser, your staff is never gonna run out of energy in the middle of service, leading to more customer satisfaction and higher reputation gain. Number 74, start hiring legendary staff. To get them to appear on the recruitment page, get the True Gourmet perk, which will allow you to attract legendary staff while also removing the limit on how good your cooked food can be. You won't really have to worry about 500 credit spendings anymore at this point in the game, so sift through the recruitment page to your heart's content and slowly try to replace your lower quality staff with legendaries. You can now afford them. Number 75. You cannot get all the perks, so be strategic about what you want. Unfortunately, this is the case for the perk system in this game. Later on, I'll show you my full build, but if you do end up messing your perks up, number 76, don't hesitate to reset perks. You can reset perks by clicking this button, and there's really no penalty aside from needing to wait 5 in-game days before being able to reset again. We're almost done with the mid-game tips and we'll soon be moving to the late-game/advanced section. So I'm just gonna do a quick rapid fire once again of tips that I didn't get a chance to talk about in the previous sections. Number 77, buy your home. If you haven't done this yet, go ahead and get a home from Priska in the town hall. It doesn't really do much in terms of walking distance from the restaurant, but the best use for the home, in my opinion, is either for unleashing your creativity if you enjoy the designing aspect of the game, or using it as an extra space for brewing and refining. Now, once you have a home, you'll also unlock a new shop in Hotel Rose called Bark and Meow, which will allow you to get pets. You can buy both a dog or a cat and get these little furballs to live with you in your home. No gameplay benefits as of yet, but I'm hoping the devs expand on this feature in the future. Right now, they're just here for the vibes. Number 72. You can access the storage in the middle of town. This really should be in the early game tips section, but I'm stupid and didn't realize that this was a thing until later. Unlock the community storage in the town hall donation menu and you'll have access to your home storage in the middle of town. And then lastly, for the mid-game, number 80. Don't neglect your tool upgrades. Befriending Pomerin will allow you to upgrade most of your tools and weapons, and Bianca will let you upgrade your watering can and drill. As for the fishing pole, go to Alloy over by the docks. The game doesn't really give you any notification of when these become available, so just make sure you have high friendship with each of them. For gifting, sunscreens for Pomeranian can be brought from the convenience store. Bianca likes any kind of alcohol, and for Alloy, give him hats brought from Milo. We are finally here in the late game section. And for those who don't know, the main story as of the current version ends after the Bathhouse's grand opening, so everything from here on out is going to be beyond the main story. Number 81. Unlock fast travel to the Bathhouse. For the longest time, I was so annoyed that we couldn't fast travel to the Teahouse, which is why I barely put any time in running services there. But what I didn't know was that upon finishing the main quest, you actually unlock a fast travel similar to the one in your home right in front of the Bathhouse. So yeah, you're welcome. Number 82. Redeem Bathhouse rewards with peony tickets. You might be wondering what these are for when the game first teaches you about them, but basically once the Bathhouse is completed, you can go to the front desk and exchange it for some really high-end furniture. Not only do these look amazing, but they also give one of the highest decor scores in the game. Number 83. Here's how to get the coveted plus 10 concentrated bath block. As you already know, crafting bath blocks in the mechanical room gives you peony tickets. But what the game didn't explain properly, in my opinion, is how to get concentrated bath blocks, which which rewards you with more peony tickets per sulfur used. So to get these, you'd basically need to fill up one of these bars at the top by matching similar ingredients while also matching 2 to 3 sulfurs in one round. It's pretty difficult to do, so I recommend looking up which ingredients give you your desired bath block type and only use those ingredients for a higher chance of things lining up. For me, I like the combination of strawberries, cherries, and oranges, but you can use any ingredient combination as long as they'll increase the same bar. Now, if you're still struggling with making plus 10 concentrated bath blocks, this next one is for you. Number 84, learn the bath block exploit. I'm not taking credit for this. It was More Skills Gaming who discovered this exploit. The main limitation of making bath blocks is you have to use 3 different ingredients, but what this exploit does is that it allows you to use the same ingredients for all 3 slots, making the minigame significantly easier. The trick is to get 3 different ingredients ready and then pick your desired ingredient to duplicate as the one on the final slot. You then click on the left one to remove it, then click your desired ingredient again, which for some reason will allow you to fill that slot. Remove the last one on top and then select your ingredient again, and that'll allow you to start the minigame, which now looks like this. Easy plus 10 concentrated bath block and also saves you massive amounts of sulfur and mining time. Number 85, take a dip in the bathhouse for buffs. Depending on what type of bath block you've created, you'll get different kinds of buffs when you visit the bath area. So depending on which buffs you want for the next couple of days, pay attention to what buffs each type of bath blocks give you. These next few tips are all going to be focused on how you can use research facilities to make literally millions in Chef RPG so you can expand your food empire. So if you haven't yet, unlock your research facilities. This is the final push towards maximizing your profits in this game. To unlock these, go ahead and activate both the research facility and gourmet gastronomy perks, and then head on over to Priska at the town hall. This will allow you to use the abandoned buildings behind your restaurant to level up both your cooking game and your food quality. Number 87, level up your chosen research facilities to max level. By dropping ingredients at the fridge and then heading over to the middle and selecting research, you can use these extra ingredients to level up the facility as a whole by completing the cooking minigames. These can get a bit tedious though, so have a video playing in the background while you level to max. By the end, you'll not only unlock game-changing passives, but also epic and even legendary recipes. Number 88, enhance your menu items. This is the second feature of the research facility. You can add more ingredients into your recipes in order to increase their price. Just click on enhancement, pick a recipe, and then pick an ingredient that you want to add. As long as you succeed in the minigame, the value of that ingredient will then be added to the overall selling price of the menu item. Now, to maximize this, number 89, only enhance recipes using high-tier ingredients. As much as possible, I would personally only use legendary ingredients for enhancing. It can take a regular 200 credit menu item all the way to almost 2,000 just by doing this alone. Just imagine doing that for your epic and legendary recipes, and you'll be surprised at how much money you can make in a typical 9-hour service. Number 90, stock up on Baiju. The only problem you'll encounter with enhancing your recipes is that eventually you are going to run out of legendary ingredients. Even the most common one, Wagyu, has a weekly limit to how much you can order. So as an alternative, I usually like using Baiju, which is the most expensive alcohol and can be bought every day at the docks vending machine. It's not as good as legendary ingredients, but it's so much more consistent, so stock up on these as early as you can afford it. Number 91. You can max out all of the research facilities. Even though there's only 2 buildings, if you max out, for example, the barbecue facility, you can replace it with something else while still retaining the levels. So this way, once you max out one facility, build the next one, max that out too, and do that until you have all the recipes, all the passives, and have all the recipes enhanced for maximum profit and efficiency. Lastly, for the research facilities, number 92, hire chefs with specialized abilities. We are now at the ultra late game of the early access. Every time you reach level 15 on the research facilities, you will gain the ability to attract chefs with specializations on whatever cuisine that research facility is for. So once you've leveled up your research facilities, start looking for legendary staff that have at least one of these specialties, as they will not only get buffs for that type of cuisine, but they will also prioritize it, increasing both efficiency and food quality. Number 93. If you haven't brought a Lel's Trade membership yet, go get yourself one at the Town Hall donation box. This is going to make legendary ingredients appear in the shopkeepers, so you'll have a decently consistent source. However, they are still rare and will not be there every day, so for the next one, 94, here are my recommendations for which legendary ingredients are worth using consistently, whether for recipe enhancing or as a menu item. Number 1 is Wagyu. Feel free to use this every single time because you can just keep ordering it as long as you've unlocked delivery from Uriel. Next is Caviar from Bowie. This is rarer since you can't order it for delivery, but it appears on the shop fairly often, so I still consider it a good ingredient to use consistently. And then lastly, Saffron and Ginseng. These ones are pretty rare. I'm not sure what the actual numbers look like in terms of these spawning in the shops, but I've barely seen them and I pick them up every time they appear. Even still, they run out after 1 or 2 services and I'd have to readjust my menu items again. So because of that, I don't recommend these unless you already have a large stock. Finally, let's talk about the rarest legendary in the whole game, Rhodium. The next step should be pretty obvious, but I've seen people online that still mess this up, so I'm adding it for safety. Number 95, Savior Rhodium. Don't be this guy on Reddit. There's no guaranteed way to get Rhodium, and for me personally, it took me 80 hours of playtime before I got my first one. So absolutely, under no circumstance, throw away, gift, or donate your Rhodium because you will not get another one anytime soon. Now, if you want to know what the methods are for finding this material, pay attention to these next ones. Number 96, so where to find Rhodium? Perhaps the easiest one is receiving it as a gift. This hasn't happened to me, but the earlier you unlock the Secret Admirer perk, the more chances you'll have of this happening over the course of your playthrough. There's also a chance of a Rhodium ore randomly dropping whenever you mine stuff, but it's incredibly rare, so keep an eye out whenever you're mining in either the beach caves or the volcano. Lastly, if you have the Treasure Hunter perk, you'll be able to see these patches of ground shining. What this means is if you have a spade, which you can buy from Pomarine, you can dig these out for treasure chests and it'll have a small chance of giving you legendary items and an even smaller chance of dropping Rhodium. Number 97, the Treasure Chest Cheese. This is an exploit that I discovered through sheer desperation. When you find a treasure chest spot, save before you dig. If the chest doesn't look like this, Alt F4 or exit through the task manager so you can reload the game to before you dug out the chest. The chance of the legendary chest appearing is low, so this is going to drive you crazy, but it is a decent way of getting Rhodium if you don't mind doing the same thing over and over again. However, the best method of finding Rhodium is undeniably number 98, celebrity visits. To have the highest chance possible of getting a celebrity visit, it's all about reputation. So for me, I have a decor value above 15,000, and with that, I'm getting celebrity visits almost every service. But why is it the best Rhodium farming method? Well, at the end of the day, depending on how good your service was, the celebrity will give you a reward, and they can give you randomly all of the refined Rhodium that you'd ever need for a playthrough. This is how I got my Rhodium after 80 hours of playing, and just a couple service after that, I got another drop, which is absolutely insane. Now, you can cheese this too with the Alt F4 method if you don't have enough ingredients for multiple openings, but thankfully I didn't have to do that. Just getting your reputation high enough will make the visits more frequent. So, we're approaching the last few tips of the video, so if you found this helpful, I'd appreciate it if you can check out the membership or Patreon because every little bit of support massively helps me out as a tiny gaming channel. Let's do the final rapid fire and wrap this video up. Number 99, here's my full money-making endgame perks build. I took everything in both the cooking and social skill tree except for vending maniac. On the gathering skill tree, I took explorer for the fast travel, and then for the general skill tree, we got bookworm and staff training. Requirements for perks that we have over on the cooking and social side of things. And then the last one is of course the treasure hunter perk. If you get lucky with that, it could give you free legendary furnitures, blueprint, and other rewards which are far more valuable than a couple extra credits from vending machines. Number 100. If you're going for a 100% completion run, check the statistics tab. So I can get pretty stupid at times, which is why I didn't realize this until like 90 hours in. But there's an achievement where you'd need to unlock 200 recipes, and I was counting stuff manually when if you just go to escape, click this magnifying glass, then go down, everything that needs to be tracked is already being tracked by the game. I had my calculator out and everything, and this would have saved me so much time. You can also track prestige levels, restaurant awards, and all that stuff here in this tab. Finally, tip number 101. Don't rush the game. This should have honestly been the first step, but please remember that this game is still in early access. It's going to be even better, so there's no point trying to get to the end game as fast as possible because a lot of the major features like romance, festivals, world events, and even a whole new city is not even in the game yet. So take your time, live day to day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you to our patrons for continuously supporting the channel. If you'd like to become a part of that or even be a member on YouTube for these exclusive perks, feel free to join in. Hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.